Okay, so this is quite different. We are at Dunk Barn at an undisclosed location. I'm here with Jesse, who owns this amazing Aventador S behind me. That is one of the most viral cars on Instagram.
Thank you.
I really, really love it. It's amazing. We're gonna go through it in a second. But what we're here to talk about mostly is entrepreneurship, what you do and what makes you driven. So
I do cloud computing for my day-to-day job, where we host companies' computer systems for them. It's probably the most boring industry to be involved in, but it's actually a lot of fun.
Right.
Something that I enjoy.
Amazing. And I know that you do some other things and some other things that you're involved with that you do that concern business or charities.
So, 21 years ago now, I approached the Prince's Trust, having been in work for a couple of years, to start a business. And all my friends thought I was mad in my early 20s, going to start a company when they were all going to university or college, and I decided as a crazy person I would go and start a business and try and make a difference. So I approached Prince's Trust. Prince's Trust set me up with a mentor and a loan, and I completely and utterly screwed it up. I didn't listen to the mentor, thought I knew everything, because you do when you're in your 20s.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But off the back of that, I managed to then get my perfect dream job in IT because I'd been in business.
Okay.
And so that sort of led over the years into me supporting two charities. I support the Prince's Trust because they help me into my business and they make a lot of difference for a lot of young people. And I support the Duke of Edinburgh's award, as they also help people. They take people that aren't very confident and turn them into leaders, and actually help people when they would potentially otherwise not have anything to do when they're in their young teenage years.
All right. Amazing. That's like, because I've heard of the Prince's Trust, and I mean for our business I've had the option of trying to see if I can maybe find funding or go through a route through Prince's Trust. I mean, obviously I haven't done that, but I know of it, and yeah, it's good to know that someone's like really sort of made a success off of the back of that process. It shows that anyone that's coming up and a young lad that wants to make a name for himself and do something for himself has the opportunity to do so through like a charity.
Young people today need help.
Yeah.
They need help, and people like the Prince's Trust help them do that. They do courses where people will go away for a week and learn how to tie the shoelaces, learn how to run a budget, how to have a credit card, how to exist as a person as you go to school, and they don't teach you that.
Life skills.
Life skills.
Yeah.
And so it takes people that don't have many life skills and gives them an opportunity. And then if they want to, off the back of that, potentially they can either go into one of the referral programs to work for one of the big companies, or they can go and start a business and go on the life cycle of then employing people and making a difference to the country.
Yeah. Awesome. Amazing. Why did you go into IT, and why did you go to this route to get to where you are?
IT was accidental.
Okay.
A genuine story. I went into sales when I was 17. Got a job at Xerox because I was good at talking to people, and I wasn't scared to pick up a phone, which is really odd for a shy person. I was a really shy person, but at the same time you got me on a telephone and I would be that sales person. And off the back of that, I managed to talk my way into an IT job when I was, that would have been 23. I took a journey, started a business when I was 21, that failed. But off the back of that, I learned some really good life skills. And the combination of sales and my skills, I went for an interview with a company, and they talked a lot. And this guy talked a lot about how amazing he was, and I told him how amazing he was for about 3 hours, and just repeated back everything that he'd said to me for about 3 hours. And at the end of it, he went, "Wow, this guy's amazing, we've got to offer him a job." Now, at that time, I knew nothing about IT, and I had 2 weeks before I started, and I went and read a lot of books, and I knew how to sell. As long as you can sell, mixed with knowing some words, I could go and do it. Why did I go into business? I went into business because I found I was actually unemployable.
Wow.
Because one of the things that I found is that people like to do things their own way. And there are two types of people. There are those that are able to be told by somebody who likes to do it their own way, and they will follow those instructions to the T, and they will do it right or wrong. And there are people like me who will sit there and go, no, that's completely wrong, and they can't actually hold it in their head and have a general need to tell people that actually
you question everything, basically.
Absolutely. And I need to do things my way. And so I found I couldn't actually work for people, and as a result, would be for the second time I went into business now 18 years ago. For the second time.
For the second time. That's amazing. No, but that's kind of like how entrepreneurship is, isn't it? Like the people who question everything and sort of like, is that really the right way? You've been doing it this way for X amount of years. It's worked well up until a point, but the market changes. And
the people die. I've seen a lot of companies over the years. I've had friends who they don't change. And when I started this business, we've changed 4 times what we do in 10 years.
Oh wow.
You have to move with the market.
Yeah.
And so if you don't move with the market, you become a dinosaur and you go out of business.
And everything's changing exponentially now, isn't it?
It's faster and faster.
Yeah.
And I've always tried to keep ahead of the pace, and now I'm only just about able to keep up with the pace.
Oh, wow.
And I don't think it's that I'm getting older, I think the pace is speeding up in business, in world, in technology.
Yeah, and this is what I'm noticing as well, because now, I mean, we've only been doing this for about 2.5, 3 years, and we just realized that things are just going faster and faster and faster. And we just have to keep up with software, with changes of how people are marketing and whatnot, because like marketing is what we do, it's what we want to, but we're aspiring to do as well. And the whole purpose of us doing these videos is to learn from people who are doing business and kind of take nuggets of information while we're giving other people value.
The next generation will have it easy. My kids are 10.
Yeah.
They know more about social media and Facebook and how to get the message out there, and YouTube and all of how people communicate with the world than I do. And so I think the next generation will have it relatively easy because they will know these things. Whereas I've had to learn them.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it's always good to learn. I mean, the way I've worked, I mean, I've been doing what I've been told for such a long time, and now I'm just sort of kind of making my own way and learning as I go, and just I'm enjoying it more and more, taking in all the information that I find online, and it's just become, I guess, second nature for me now, just to kind of learn.
That's been my experience. There are 2 types of people in this world. There are those that want to better themselves, and the people that go home and learn at night, and in the IT world they'll build labs and they'll read books and they'll come in the next day excited about a new technology. And there are those that come in and work 9 to 5, and they will get what they get from it. Those types of people are gaining. There seem to be more and more people who are the 9 to 5, come in, get their money, go home, live and exist. And there's a smaller number of people now who are in the want to make a difference. And that's why I work with the likes of Duke-Ogres, that's why I work with the likes of Prince's Trust, because those types of organisations take the type of people that want to make themselves better, want to do better for themselves in life, and they give them an opportunity to do that. And I think that's, in life, there are those that take and those that give, and I think you will get from life what you give back to it, and there is nothing better in life than seeing someone succeed.
I love that. Absolutely love that. I mean, some people say that you're born with it, or other people say that you learn it over time. But in terms of your entrepreneurial tendencies, where do you think that sort of stems from? What triggered it?
I started at a very young age. I think I was in junior school when I got banned from selling pens to kids. I used to take my dad's business, and I used to take his pens and I would sell them to people as these gold nibbed pens, and they all leaked in people's pockets, and I got banned from doing that. And then probably a year later, we went out to the US and I bought boxes of these Garbage Pail Kid stickers, and I was bringing them back and selling them at 3 times as what I was. I was probably only 11 or 12 at the time. And by the time I got to sort of the larger school, I was getting my mum to take me to Booker's Cash and Carry, and I was competing with the tuck shop, which I got banned for. And then I started copying videos, and I was selling videos, and so probably right from an early age, I knew that either sales or some kind of thing where I could make money. I could see I could make money. Everyone else around me was taking handout from their parents. I was doing 2 paper rounds. I was selling things from my locker. I was selling things from home. I had a pay it's about today, Friday ad. And you used to take out adverts in there. And I used to buy hi-fi, high-end hi-fi. I was probably 13, 14. And I'd get on a train and I'd go pick up one of these units. And I'd put it together, 4 or 5 units, and sell it as a high-end hi-fi. And I'd make 200-300 quid.
That's brilliant.
And so by the time I was 14 or 15, I was paying for everything myself because I was earning good money just by being an entrepreneur. So that was always going to happen for me. I was always going to go into business. And I suppose I was lucky enough. I had a dad who ran a car garage, auto electrical garage. And so if I wanted to see him, he worked 7 days a week. I'd have to go to work with him. Right. So by the time I was 10, I could rewire an alternator, I could fit a car stereo, but I learnt the ethic of work.
Yeah, that's good. Because that's the thing, when you have a parent who does run a company, whether it's successful or not, you're still learning how to run a business. You learn the day to day. You just kind of observe them and watch them and see them
absolutely
doing what they do. And well, this sort of leads to your car, which is very obviously in the background.
Subtle.
Very subtle. Why did you do this? Why did you go? First of all, why did you buy an Aventador? Secondly, why did you spec it up in this wild color?
That's quite a long question, but I'll give you the short answer. I've grown up in the motor trade. Grew up as a bit of a car nut. And when my friends were all out buying 1.6 Escorts, I was buying a 2.8i Granada V6, and I had V8s and was big engines, and cars were my thing. And because I was involved in the motor trade, I was flipping cars from 17. By the time I was 20, I'd probably already had 25 cars.
That's ridiculous.
I was flipping them all the time. I'd have a car for a couple of months, buy it, sell it, make some money on it, lose some money on it, try something different. So my car journey has always been try something, have something, try something, have something. And I woke up one day a couple of years ago and I went, I'm going to buy a supercar. I waited long enough. I've not bought a supercar, but I'm going to go and buy one. And I went out and I tried some supercars, and lucky enough to be able to walk into a dealer and then sort of say to them, can I borrow a car and test it out? And I borrowed a McLaren 650 and I broke it. No surprise, they all break. Borrowed a Huracan and it was too small. And I drove 488, 2 turbo, didn't like it. And I drove the old shape Aventador. It was a silver car and it was awful. The gearbox was awful, but there was something about that V12 that was just too much money for me at the time. And I heard a 458, the noise of a 458, and I didn't even need to drive one, I just heard it, and that'll do. That's the car for me. So I got a 458, and then as my business has grown over the last sort of few years, I went, right, now is the time to step into what is my dream car. As a kid, I had a Diablo poster on my wall of a bright purple Diablo with a yellow interior.
That's crazy, yellow interior.
And I had a Countach picture, it was a bright red Countach with a cream interior, and those were my 2 poster cars. On an F40, I had a picture of an F40, which we can just see in the background there. That was kind of my dream 3 cars. And so when I went out to look at buying a car like this, in terms of colours, it had to be crazy. I grew up with a poster which had 2 clashing colours on it. You don't buy a Lamborghini that's black on black, silver on silver, white on white. You buy something that's a bit crazy. And one of the things I've always tried to be is different. I've never bought a car for the next owner. And a lot of people buy a car and spec a car to not lose money for the next owner. And it's like, well, you're not buying a car for yourself, you're buying it for somebody else.
Exactly.
I'm buying a car for me. And I'm buying it as an extension of me, and I like to be different. And if you're going to be different, just have what you want in life. You only live once, so you might as well just do it properly. And I was saying it earlier on, actually, there was one of the guys that's a good friend of my dad's grew up, and he used to have these Ford Scorpio Granada things. And he always used to say to me, the reason I buy this Scorpio is because it's got all the buttons.
Yeah.
And if it hasn't got all the buttons and you're sat there, you're gonna look and go, well, there's a space there where there should be a button. I don't know what it does. Who knows what it does? But I've got to have that button.
Yeah.
So if you're going to buy a new car, I've always said spec it to how you want it.
Yeah.
Tick all the boxes, because A, you'll miss the boxes, but B, you'll probably want something on there. Don't spec it for the next person, spec it for you.
Exactly.
And that's how we ended up with a slightly crazy car.
And I know it's a bit Marmite, but I mean, I love it. And I mean, I know a lot of other people love it. How have the reactions have been?
Mixed. When it first went on the internet, it's 50-50, love and hate. Some quite extreme hate. Lots of pictures of people vomiting and stuff like that, which is quite comical. And do you know what? The internet's a funny thing. It's you get used to people on the internet where they're just trying to say stuff for a reaction. And one of the things I've learned over the years is someone says it's disgusting, you just say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. At least it's got an opinion. I'd rather have an opinion than no opinion.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't do it for other people. I did it for me. And I get in that car and I sit in it, and it makes me smile. And even if I drove it around in the dark and no one ever saw me in it, it would make me smile. So it's for me.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
Exactly. I mean, you're guessing like you love like driving by shop fronts and seeing the reflection.
Yeah, I like looking at the car. I love it. It's just something different to be in.
Yeah.
And some of the wheels. Wheels, again, I love it, hate it. Everyone has black wheels these days.
Yeah.
For me, I'm a bit old school. I'm a bit, child of the 80s and 90s.
So you went polished.
Chrome and polished wheels were kind of a thing of the day, and I'm trying to bring back bright wheels.
Yeah. Yeah, because you need to have an area where it transitions back to, what it was, but a modern interpretation of it, which I quite like how the wheels look. They look quite OEM, and they're Kahn wheels, aren't they?
They are Kahn wheels. Yeah,
I absolutely
they're
love
the
them.
only ball polished Santa Gata Kahn wheels in the world. Actually, the spec in terms of the colours, you'll notice the roof and the windscreen pillars are all blue. And again, it's the only one in the world which has got that done to it.
Oh yes.
Because all of the rest of the cars are black, where they should be blue. And again, that came from my wanting to have a Countach. I wanted a Countach, but I wanted a modern version of that. And they didn't have black roofs on Countach.
No, it was all one colour.
All one colour.
Yeah. Amazing. This car also has a double purpose for you, because you want to draw a lot of attention to the charities that you support.
I do.
So you use this as a good medium for you as on social media.
It's fantastic. I do presentations. So I do at the end of these kids' weeks, where they do the Princess Trust week, and I take them and teach them how to live and exist, and teach them about business and stuff. They bring in an entrepreneur to talk about what it's like to be an entrepreneur. And I was actually doing one of these presentations a couple of weeks ago, and I said to them, because they were saying about how quick is it to start a business, I said, well, I took the same approach to how do I grow people. And actually, the reason I wanted to grow people's investment and excitement around Princess Trust is it's all well and good, me sitting there and going and presenting to 15, 20 people, and exciting 15, 20 people. What if I could do that to 250,000 people? What if I could get 20 people who are in business, entrepreneurs, to commit each £25,000 a year to making a difference to those kind of people? Yeah. So in the same way that you come up with any business plan, I come up with a business plan. My business plan to drive that was buy something crazy, get it all over the internet, but use that as a leverage to push my agenda. My agenda is to ultimately push people's involvement in Princess Trust and Duke of Edinburgh's award. And I built that as a business plan. I said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to aim to get to 250,000 followers on Instagram. I'm going to build a YouTube channel. I'm going to do a tour across the US next year and get lots of good YouTubers and people involved and get people excited about it. Yeah. I'll only do that as long as they'll let me talk about Princess Trust. So I'll happily go on anyone's channel, happily go on anyone's feeds, as long as they'll let me talk about Princess Trust and Duke of Edinburgh's award. And so far it's working well. My engagement with my peers, people that I want to engage with to get them excited about Princess Trust and get them investing, is working. The conversations are happening, the introductions are happening, and the same for the young people. I want to influence the young. The young are the sort of forgotten generation where people talk about millennials as if they're a dirty word now. They
I know, I hate that.
refer to this millennial generation where they're lazy, they're this, they can't be bothered to work, they're 9 to 5, they don't invest in themselves. But do you know what? There's a lot of them that do want to invest in themselves.
Yeah.
And those are the people that need the help. And being able to engage with a large audience to A, get them to help themselves, but B, get people to help them, that's what drives me. That's why I'm doing this. I've got a nice car, but I could have just gone and bought a black on black or a white on white but actually having a crazy car was part of my business plan to get people excited. So it doesn't matter what you want to do in life, as long as you put a plan together, you implement that plan and you do something with it, build some marketing around it, as we were talking about, social media and the new way of the world.
Because, if it wasn't for social media, I wouldn't have seen this or gotten in touch with you, because that's how we even communicate, to kind of like trying to get an opportunity. You just DM someone, like see if you can get a response back. You responded back because like you're happy to talk about it and talk about Princess Trust and everything like that. And this is something that I'm very curious about and really wanted to help you promote anyway, because this is what you're passionate about. I want to know what you're passionate about.
Excites me.
Yeah.
So the opportunity to make a difference. There are, when you get up to peer level in terms of business, there does seem to be two types of people in business. Those who want to be successful but keep it all to themselves and just go and live their life on a Caribbean island and have fun with it. And there's a lot of people now, more like me, where they want to make a difference.
Yeah.
And it's how do you best make that difference? Is it just by writing a check? Or is it by being able to influence and help people? And for me, the one thing I've always said is my biggest buzz isn't making money, it's seeing people succeed.
Yeah.
Taking someone as an intern or taking someone into the business and seeing them go on a 5-year journey from someone that's come from a cash and carry right through to them being an engineer or a salesperson, or that for me is no better buzz in the world. And if you can do that en masse, to actually affect a lot of people to want to do that, oh my God, you've achieved in life. People have different measurements of achievement. Is it being on television? Is it being, and for me, to be able to sit there and go, I managed to help X thousand people make a difference to themselves, that would be my achievement in life, and I would be so happy.
That's brilliant. Absolutely love it. I guess the next thing we're going to do is go through all the details. You're going to take me around your car.
I'll take you around the car.
Show me exactly what you expect and what you love about it. Okay, so we're here with the viral Aventador. I'll call it that from now on. I'd like to. Can you walk us through the car and like all the details, all the spec that you've decided on? So
when you pay nearly £300,000 for a car, they come pretty bare as spec. They don't come with sat-nav, they don't come with any of the normal things that you would expect a car to have. It's pretty much seats, a V12 engine, some brakes, a few other bits. Everything is an option on these things. So when I spec'd it, I wanted to make sure that it was the car that it needed to be. It needed to deserve what it had on it. So as a walk around, things that you wouldn't even think were an extra are an extra. I also wanted to do something different, and I was talking earlier on about my dream car, the Lamborghini Aventador, and this is kind of where some of this came from. And if you look at a Countach, I wanted to build something that had that similar look to it, those classic lines, all colour-coded, going a little bit back to the sort of 80s in its design. And so from the outside in, everything's an option. So carbon fibre around the bottom. And I know a lot of people don't spec carbon fibre because they just see it as an unnecessary thing. But for me, it just finishes off the contrast between the light and dark, and it gives it something that shines. And whereas the matte finish on the plastic that you normally have is very dark and it doesn't shine with it, the car is shiny as itself. It's got PPF on it, it's got glitter in the paint, and the combination between the carbon fibre and the colour give it something as an offset. So what I wanted to do though was keep the top of it all one colour. So you see very little carbon fibre on the top, but there's carbon fibre all around the bottom here. There's a little piece of carbon fibre here, and then a small piece of carbon fibre on the front, just to tie those in and give them a bit of difference, but everything else within that is one. As standard, the Aventador comes with some plastic panels that come up here, so you can't see the engine.
Yeah.
Now, it's not as good as the coupe, where you can see the nice V12 piece in the middle, but the glass panels, which cost an absolute fortune, do allow you to see some of the engine and hear that roar that comes from the back of it. As we sort of walk around the car, again, carbon fibre pieces. Most of the cars come with either colour-coded black wing mirrors, or they come with carbon fibre wing mirrors. And again, I wanted that all colour-coded as one part of the look to give it that sleek, coupe-like look to it with the roof on or roof off. So that was all created for me by Personam. Within the front of the car, again, you can almost catch the glitter in the light. So on the front, it's got adaptive headlights. It's got these sort of Y-shaped headlights on it, which give it that sort of, when the lights are on, mixing of the carbon fibre with the Y-shaped headlights, with the blue, gives it quite an imposing and different look to it, something that stands out. Going into the car, one of the things that I love about Lamborghini is every piece of it is like a work of art. When you open up the fuel cap, look at this fuel filler cap. Just look at that, look at the machining on that. Every piece of the car is machined and built and manufactured. We went out to Italy, we did the factory walk around. There was one robot in the whole factory, and all it does is this little robot, it looks like something from Star Wars, it goes around and takes rubbish away. Everything else is, as it's walking down, is built by hand. Still built by hand. There are no robots in the factory. So it's a fantastic place to be. Then, as we go into the interior, what I was looking for was this blast of colour. I didn't go with a fixed idea. They were kind of like, well, you've got this idea, why don't we take it further? And why don't we put an orange light behind the Aventador to tie it in with the interior? That's perfect. As a one-off. The blue, as we go in, you can sort of see we brought the inside out, outside in, and the full interior. Hadn't kind of done it quite like that before in terms of the full interior, and again with the S-line in the blue Glauco. It's anyone in the world with S-line with blue Glauco and the orange interior. Steering wheel, even little details like a steering wheel. Now you'll notice Alcantara on the dash, big fan of Alcantara, but Alcantara on the steering wheel. That feel as you go through to hold a steering wheel. I know a lot of people say they like perforated leather and they like the feel of perforated. I like the hold of a... the grip. If you've driven anything GT2 RS, GT3, it's all Alcantara. You want something you can hold and throw into bends. In the front of the car, I'll just give you an idea, just how little space. If you were to try and travel across Europe, you've got enough bag space to fit, well, a Tesco bag, I would say. What's that in? Probably 2 Tesco bags of clothes. Now I'm doing a tour across with the Gentleman's Jolly to Geneva Motor Show next year. Oh, awesome! I'm sitting there looking, thinking, well, I'm going to want to have the roof off, because what's the point in having a supercar if you can't have the roof off and hear that glorious V12? But where am I going to put my bag? I'm going away for 5 days. I've literally got enough space to either put the roof on and put a bag in there, or basically put a Tesco bag in there full of my clothes.
I might have an idea for you. Get a roof box.
Or a trailer.
Or a trailer, But a roof box is cool, especially if it's done in the same colour as this. That'll be amazing.
So it's not the most practical of cars.
No, of course not. But I mean, the thing is, you buy this it is your special toy. It's like that thing that you look at in the garage and you're super proud of it. It's exactly the way you want it. You know. It is. The
only bits I didn't do are under the rear bonnet. You can spec carbon fibre. Now the reason I didn't spec it was because aftermarket you can get it done for about a quarter of the cost. Whereas you want it factory, I want all the bumpers OEM, I want that done. But to have this done in carbon fibre, I can get it done for 25% of the cost. I didn't get that spec'd in factory, so I will be upgrading all of this to carbon fibre, the X-frame to carbon fibre, the central piece to carbon fibre. No one ever gets to see it, but you know what? I know it's there, and all of that personalisation comes at a massive cost. But as we were talking about earlier, I didn't buy a car for the next owner.
No.
I bought a car for me. This is my supercar. This is my one opportunity to spec a supercar to my spec, how I want it, so I can enjoy it and I can love it.
Well, thank you for coming
thank
and
you.
talking to us.
It's been a real pleasure.
Yeah, definitely, it has been. And thank you guys for watching.
Thank you.
You've seen this beautiful car, you've seen the ridiculous spec on it, and the viral Aventador, I'll call it. And yeah, I guess we'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.